Father Miguel sat alone in his dimly lit office, the soft glow of the computer monitor casting long, flickering shadows across the room. The recent string of burglaries at the parish had left him on edge, driving him to review surveillance footage night after night. Though his hopes were low, he prayed for even the smallest clue that might reveal the culprits. Hours passed slowly, filled with little more than shifting shapes and routine flickers of light. Just as Miguel was about to shut the system down for the evening, a familiar figure appeared on the screen, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. The cardinal moved through the corridor with quiet purpose, completely unaware of the camera capturing his every step. What happened next made Miguel's breath hitch. 2 weeks earlier, the entire town had buzzed with excitement upon hearing that Cardinal Tagle would visit their parish. His reputation for humility and compassion had earned him respect well beyond the walls of the church. Preparations had begun immediately. Pews were polished, the courtyard meticulously cleaned, and decorations thoughtfully placed to honor the revered guest. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a blessed beginning to the new ecclesiastical year, Father Miguel had announced cheerfully. With the help of Cosmos Philly, we're here to show you what's new at St. Sophia's. Families arrived hours before, the scheduled mass, eager to catch a glimpse of the cardinal. The church filled quickly, and even the courtyard overflowed with faithful attendees craning their necks to see him. Father Miguel, standing at the entrance, nervously adjusted his collar, his hands damp despite the cool evening air. He had met Cardinal Tagle before, but this visit felt different, more significant. The community desperately needed hope after the unsettling break-ins. The soft crunch of tires on gravel marked the arrival of a sleek black car. Miguel exhaled and stepped forward. The cardinal emerged, offering his familiar warm smile and a graceful bow. "Your Eminence," Miguel greeted with a respectful bow. A sense of calm rippled through the crowd. Parishioners who had been tense now smiled and embraced one another. It was as if the cardinal's very presence had restored their hope. Inside, Cardinal Tagle moved gracefully through the packed church, offering blessings, shaking hands, and speaking to each person with genuine care. From the sidelines, Miguel watched, full of admiration. For all his stature, the cardinal carried himself with the gentleness of a servant. But then something caught Miguel's eye. Clara, the church's housekeeper, usually quiet and composed, stood near the side aisle, clearly tense. She fidgeted, casting anxious glances toward the cardinal. Her expression was hard to read. Fear, concern, or something deeper. Later that evening, Miguel couldn't shake the image of Clara's demeanor. She lingered near the sacristy, her hands clasped tightly, her posture rigid. When Cardinal Tagle approached, she hesitated before stepping forward and whispering something to him. From where Miguel stood, her words were inaudible. The cardinal responded with a slight nod, his face unreadable. Clara turned and left abruptly, her face pale and troubled. Miguel's stomach churned. That night, as he lay in bed, the shrill buzz of his phone shattered the silence. The caller ID read, "Security Services." "Father Miguel," the voice on the other end said with polite urgency, "we've detected unusual activity on the church premises. Please review the footage from camera 3 near the east corridor." Throwing on a jacket over his nightclothes, Miguel hurried to the small monitoring room. The church was eerily quiet, bathed in moonlight filtered through stained glass windows. Sitting before the glowing screen, he scrubbed through the footage. Nothing unusual appeared until the time ticked past 11 p.m. A figure emerged from the shadows. Miguel's breath caught as the dim lighting revealed the unmistakable form of Cardinal Tagle. The cardinal's movements were cautious, almost furtive, as he glanced repeatedly over his shoulder. His behavior didn't match the serene and gracious man from earlier that day. Miguel leaned closer, a knot tightening in his chest. Cardinal Tagle was moving with purpose, as if searching for something or someone. When he paused outside Clara's room, his hand hovered over the doorknob. He looked around one last time before quietly slipping inside. Miguel sat frozen, struggling to reconcile the beloved cardinal with the man on the screen. Surely there was an innocent explanation. But the secrecy, the timing, shook him. He replayed. The footage, again and again, analyzing every detail, the Cardinal's movements were deliberate and methodical. Over the next few nights, Miguel kept watch. Each time, the footage revealed a similar pattern: Cardinal Tagle leaving his quarters. Late, walking the quiet halls and entering Clara's room. Sometimes he stayed for over an hour. Once Miguel saw the Cardinal beckon Clara toward him. She hesitated, visibly tense. When she left, her eyes were red, as if she'd been crying. Miguel's unease turned to dread. He wrestled with the implications. Confronting a man of the Cardinal's stature without clear evidence could ruin reputations and fracture the community. Yet doing nothing felt like a betrayal, to his conscience, to Clara, and to the people he served. The whispers had already started. "I heard he was seen near Clara's quarters," one parishioner murmured. "There must be an explanation," another replied, though doubt colored her tone. But others were less charitable. "A man is a man," someone said bluntly. "Clergy or not, sneaking around at that hour raises questions." Miguel moved through the murmuring crowd, each overheard, word adding weight to the growing storm. He had wanted time to understand the situation quietly. Now it was slipping from his hands. Clara's behavior hadn't gone unnoticed. She had grown distant, withdrawn. She no longer joined the others for morning prayers. Her shoulders slumped, under an invisible burden. Miguel's phone buzzed again. "Father," the security operator said cautiously, "we've reviewed additional footage. The repeated late-night activity is concerning. We believe this may require further action." Miguel stared at the screen, the still image of Cardinal Tagle outside Clara's door haunting him. He could no longer pretend that inaction was harmless. The next morning, as dawn lit the chapel in golden hues, Miguel made his decision. He walked to the Cardinal's quarters, his rosary clenched tightly in one hand, and knocked. The door opened. Cardinal Tagle stood there, calm and welcoming. "Father Miguel," he greeted warmly. "What brings you here at this hour?" Miguel hesitated, his voice trembling. "Your Eminence, I've been reviewing the security footage. I've seen you, visiting Clara's quarters late at night. The secrecy, the timing. I can't ignore it anymore." The Cardinal's expression didn't change. Instead, it softened with empathy. "Sister Clara has been struggling with deep depression," he said gently. "She approached me privately on the day I arrived, overwhelmed and isolated. She asked for my help, but feared being seen or judged. We met in secret at her request so she could speak freely and find peace without fear of gossip." Miguel stood in silence as understanding washed over him. The pieces fit, her withdrawn behavior, the red eyes, the desperate hush in her voice. He felt a wave of guilt for having let suspicion cloud his judgment. "I only wanted to protect her dignity," the Cardinal continued. "Sometimes discretion is the kindest act of all." Miguel lowered his gaze. "Forgive me, Your Eminence. I let fear blind me." Cardinal Tagle rested a hand on his shoulder. "We are all human, Father Miguel. What matters is that you sought the truth with humility." Later that day, Clara approached Miguel in the quiet chapel. "Thank you, Father," she whispered, "for understanding and for keeping my pain private." Miguel nodded gently. "You are not alone, Clara. We're here to carry this with you." As she walked away, the chapel once again fell into silence. But now Miguel felt peace, not because the doubts had vanished, but because he had chosen compassion over assumption.